Welcome to the Real Estate Pros of Houston podcast, where host Mark Zachary talks to high-producing real estate agents in the Houston area about their story and what makes them so successful. Each episode, our guests will tell you what they're doing that works and what makes them so successful, as well as insights that will help you take your business to the next level. Now, here's Mark delivering a true real estate pro of Houston.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston. And today we have a really incredible agent, and she's like known as Mrs. Cypress and Mrs. Bridgelands. And she does a lot of work in the northwest side of Harris County in the Cypress area. And I know she does work all over, but she's like Mrs. Bridgeland, I think. So I'm really glad that she's on today. You're going to get a lot of information about Amy and her team, and we look forward to hearing her story. So, Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I always like to start off with, just tell me your story. How long have you been here? How long have you been doing this? What made you get into this? And then I'll ask a few questions from there. But kind of just tell us your story, a little bit about your family and things like that.
Okay, great. This is my 15th year of doing real estate. I taught elementary PE for 16 years previously to getting my real estate license. And I really loved teaching and enjoyed it. I taught here in Cypress and in Tomball ISD and a little bit in San Antonio when my husband was in the military. We had a great career teaching, really enjoyed it. I just was looking for the next thing, the next step up of something to do differently, that didn't want to do the same thing for the next 15 years. So this has been an exciting change and kind of use a lot of your same skill sets that you had, your patience and the way that you speak to people, and good database.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been a really good move for me. It's been a huge blessing to my family. My daughter is 18 and going to graduate this year and head off to Texas Tech. And she and my husband ride cutting horses together. So we spend a lot of time doing that. My son is a junior at Abilene Christian. He played some football there, and he went to Bridgeland High. Both of them have gone to graduate from Bridgeland High School and had a great experience here. Yes, we've lived in Bridgeland for the last 15 years. Also, this is actually the first house I bought with my real estate license. It was very exciting.
Oh, really? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long has Bridgeland's been there? You had to be one of the first out there, huh?
Yeah, 2006 was the first house built out here, and my house was actually built in 2007, and we moved in 2008.
Now,
the year I got my license.
Same house that entire time?
Same house. When we bought this house, we paid $220 for this house, and it's 3,000 square feet on an 11,000 square foot lot. So we've done a lot of updated, added a pool, and some fun things like that. But yeah, we cul-de-sac, enjoy our neighbors, enjoy our area. So
yeah,
it's been great.
Well, so what are you thinking about your kids going off to West Texas like that?
I know. Can't believe they're so rude like that.
That is so far. I thought I was going to die when I let my daughters go off to Texas A&M, 50 minutes up the road. I don't know what I would do if I had to drive all the way to Lubbock or fly all the way to Lubbock to see my girls. But thankfully, they didn't go that far away. But I'm very familiar with Lubbock. I was born in Levelland, which is right next to, it's about 30 minutes due west of Lubbock. And you'll probably hear that from time to time from your daughter.
Yes. So, my son actually went to Abilene Christian, that's where I graduated from. So I made him go visit, just at least have one visit. And he fell in love. Yeah, fell in love and loved it there. So he's had a great experience there. And then, it takes another 2 hours. So at least they'll be close to each other. So that's nice.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, that's she graduates in May.
She graduates in May, and we'll be empty nesters. So
wow.
Not sure what to do with myself then.
You're gonna have to date all over again, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about your team that you have built, and I've met some of them, and but I understand you've you've added quite a few agents since I last talked with you.
We have. We have 10 agents, including myself, and 3 full-time support people. So nice little team. We try really hard to keep our team small so that we can have our family atmosphere that we all have liked so much. Mm-hmm. Every person on my team has been someone that I've known or been a friend with. My first teammate actually was a neighbor one door down, and she's been with me for 15 years. Really? So that's been very exciting. Amy Wiesner's been here for 15 years, and everybody else has had nice longevity also. I've hired four other educators that are coming out of education. And we're going to announce Monday, we have one more educator coming who is retiring from teaching and coaching. And we're super excited to have him also. So bumping up our numbers a little bit, but trying really hard to stay small and, tiny but mighty. So that's our little slogan there. So it's been good.
Yeah. Well, that says a lot about you when you're able to keep agents as long as you have. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's been with a company more than 15 years, like you're saying with Amy. And man, that's a testament to you and your leadership.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a great place for us to land and grow together and make mistakes and learn. And we've been at 2 different brokerages and just recently changed to EXP, which we're super excited about. Okay. The leadership there has really been involved with helping us grow and helping us stabilize there and having some great opportunities for investments. And so we've been able to really build on that and keep everybody present. And most of my other agents have been there 7, 8, 9 years. We do have 2 or 3 newer ones that have been there a year or two. But it's a great group of people.
What are you seeing since you have so many teachers? What are you seeing as a skill set that teachers may be bringing to your team?
For one, the biggest thing is that we're able to multitask. I feel like teachers are able to make really quick decisions during the day based on discipline or what a child needs or talking with a parent. There's so much going on in the classroom that at one time that you're able to handle quick decisions and make good decisions. You're also equipped with really good communication skills. Communication is everything in teaching, whether you're communicating with the students, with your team, or with the parents of your students. You have really good skill set there that you can take into. And just being on the go and meeting people's expectations. Real estate is constantly changing, constantly on the go, and people have really high expectations. And so I feel like in teaching, that was something we always strove to meet, and that has carried over really well to my real estate career.
Yeah. Well, thinking back when you started your real estate career, what would you do over again as you got going? Or was everything just super smooth? Or what is something that you would have changed?
It was perfect, Mark. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was just going to see if you were going to lie on camera like this.
No, I think the best thing I did was not realize or listen to anybody talk about the market. When I joined in 2008, people now will say 2008 was the worst year. I had no idea. I was so excited to be doing it. I had no clue that it was not a good time to get into real estate. So I think that's the best thing I've done. Probably the hardest thing I've done is switching brokers. I think that people need to spend a lot of time and effort into realizing where they're going to fit best, who has the best training, who has the best longevity. It's not just about money. Yes, of course, that plays a big part in it, but who is leading the wheel and who is providing you with investment opportunities and ways to grow and actually cares about your team. For us, it's all about the personal feel. And so when we switched to EXP, who we switched under was actually Jimmy Franklin, and we had a friendship for 4 years, and he had not bought up EXP to me every time, was just basically building our relationship. And I feel like that is definitely what's most important to us. And so I think you have to determine what's important to you and in that area and then go from there. Yeah,
we had Mary Watts on the podcast as well a few weeks ago. And she just went on and on a bit about EXP and how good it was. And there's a ton of people that are switching over to a EXP. It seems like every time I jump on Facebook or a social media site, I see more and more people jumping over there. So, what about
Absolutely.
yeah? So, what about the training and stuff that you were talking about? What do you see as your major challenge with providing training for agents, or does EXP do a lot of that as well?
EXP does a great job of onboarding and of giving you some either basic training, and that's what we were looking for, was some next level training. And so recently I've been on multiple phone calls and podcasts with them and different trainings, and just been super impressed with the training that's there. Keller Williams had amazing training for us also, so I'm definitely not going to ever knock that training that we got there. Gary Keller is an amazing teacher and has some great ideas. But Keller Williams and EXP trade people up at the top quite often. And so I think the model is very similar. Just EXP has a better way of doing things as far as growing your business, and the personal touch was just definitely there. For example, we have a training coming up that the Franklin team is putting on, where Mattress Mac is coming to talk about how to build a business, how to stay in touch with how to stay in touch with your community. And that's open to, anybody that wants to come in real estate, obviously. But what a great opportunity for us to go and learn from one of our legends in Houston. So I feel like those kind of opportunities are there.
Right. Well, that'll be very nice. I've always wanted to go over there. I've never even gone to Gallery Furniture, believe it or not. But man, there's nobody that is more visible in the community than Mattress Mac. We have
absolutely
a podcast that's called Inside Houston Real Estate, and we've reached out to him to be on the podcast, but haven't heard back from him. I think his schedule is pretty tight.
And I think you have to go in person. Jimmy went to actual Gallery Furniture and met him and talked to him about it and got him. So that was really cool.
Okay, note to self. I may make a trip over there next week and see if we can talk him into that. But so, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing now? You mentioned 2008, and everybody was saying that was a tough time. And I think the biggest challenge we have as a mortgage company and probably the real estate is there's too much negative news going on right now. And they are talking about high interest rates and when are we going to get back to normal? And I'm like, I've been doing this 28 years, and it's been this way for probably 26 out of those 28. And the last 2.5 years, that was not normal. So we're back to the old normal, and I don't think that we're ever going to get back to 2s and 3s and maybe even 4s. I just don't know if they're going to go that low, because the federal government artificially kept these rates low because they were buying so much mortgage-backed securities, and they were keeping them low so there wasn't a complete financial collapse during COVID. So I think that's a big challenge we have right now, is resetting expectation as to what's normal. What is one that you guys are challenged with?
Education, definitely education is educating our buyers out there and our sellers so they can know what to expect, and setting realistic expectations. When you go to a listing appointment and they still think that they can price it from 2020 or 2021, it's just really educating people about this is the real world where we are right now, and we have to list houses and buy houses in this world that we're in. And it's still a really strong real estate market. How we've got multiple offers on listings we've just listed. Right. We just listed 4 houses today, multiple showings on them all day long. So it's still a very strong market. It's just like what you said, a normal market. And I think that, we can obviously see through the news that people are trying to use the scare tactics, and, the 2s and the 3s are why we're here today and at this market we are in. But Houston has an amazingly resilient market that we're in, and people still need to buy and sell. We're very transient. And so Houston's never been a bad market, and Cypress especially, one of the top growing communities that we have here in Texas.
Right. And then the growth and expansion of 290 has really opened up Cypress to be something that it wasn't 10 years ago, because nobody wanted to be on 290. now it's
That's
not
right.
that big of a deal. And then you got 99 that connects Katy to Cypress, and man, it sure makes it easy to get in and around Cypress and Katy and all between on 99 as well.
Yep. And, you know, when people are looking out here, that are definitely our school district is one of the strongest things that we have out here, and the glue that really holds our community together. And so I'm proud to have been a teacher in Cy-Fair, proud to have my kids attend the Cy-Fair School District. We went last night to the Salute to the Stars, which is where all the teachers of the year get honored. And what a great thing that is to see these teachers that had their tenacity and, you know, their growth in the district for sure.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the introduction, it was you are like Mrs. Bridgelands. How did you do that? Or was it just constant reaching out, just the visibility? How do you what do you attribute that to being so well known in the Cypress area?
You know, people ask a lot about why we're involved in teachers and why we're so involved with our communities. And I try to tell new agents that it really does need to be, for it to be genuine, it needs to be something that you love, something that you are passionate about. And so when we moved here, I was so excited to be here. I'd been a teacher for so long. I could not believe how lucky we were to get to live in this beautiful neighborhood. And then just seeing the growth here, I mean, it's booming. And getting to be involved. I'll never forget that I was sitting in the car rider line at Pope Elementary the very first day it opened. And I just had tears in my eyes that I'd always wanted my kids to be in a neighborhood school where they could ride their bikes to school, and all the kids around were riding their bikes and getting picked up with their parents. And I just thought, okay, this is what I've always wanted. Right. So I just believe that if you love something, it exudes from your body, exudes from your mouth, the things you say. And so I love Bridgeland. I love Town Lake also. We love all the other neighborhoods. I love Cypress Lake. I love Black Horse. But, you know, this is where we've built our roots in our home, and spent a lot of time exploring when all the builders came and getting to know, you know, the different builders and what's the pros and cons of them and pros and cons of each section of Bridgeland and the schools, like, you know, kind of like I mentioned. And so I feel like the more you know about a neighborhood and where is the closest HEB and is there one coming and where do you get your hair cut? Where do you get your car washed? You know, all the things that are right around us, kind of where you build your own little community in your area of expertise.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want, you know, if whoever is watching this, I don't want them to think that you just focus on this Northwest side. I'm sure you go anywhere or have team members that will go anywhere to show and sell houses throughout the entire city. Am I right?
Absolutely. We have a teammate that lives in town, and he's our in-town specialist. We have 3 that live in Waller. And if you haven't been out to see the new Waller High School, it is an amazing sight to see. It's hands down the best high school I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy, really? The programs they offer. So, I mean, Waller is definitely coming, and that's going to be, you know, the next 5 years, I look for Waller to be a big force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And so people are moving out, don't want the hustle and bustle of Fry Road or, you know, any of the things. But yes, we sell out there. We have people looking for land in Hempstead. I grew up in Sugar Land, so I've helped lots of people buy and sell houses out in Sugar Land where I grew up. So there's no, I mean, when you're an agent in Houston, you can pretty much go anywhere.
Yeah. I always feel sorry for you guys because I'll look on HAR and I can see, you know, where your production is throughout the city. I'm like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to do all that driving. I can pretty much stay right here at my desk and do everything I need to do. And I think if I had to go to Kingwood and then the Bridgelands and Conroe, I think I would end up in jail because I would not be a real friendly driver that you would like to be around.
Yes, but when I do that, I just remind myself that I'm not getting up and driving in that traffic at 6:30 every day downtown to the Galleria and every day back. So I'm just thankful.
True. That is so true. So, you know, you obviously have built a very, very good business. What do you do to be, because I think this business ought to be easier the longer we're in it. Not that it gets real easy, but when you can have a database of past clients and things like that, do you have a strategy that you use on a regular basis to stay in touch with your database? And what is it that you do for them?
So we, yes, have a very strong database. 87% of our people came from our sphere of influence last year. We're a very referral-based team. You know,
Wow.
we don't buy leads. So we work really hard on, I call it, loving on our people. We do lots of client appreciation events. We have a big crawfish boil coming up that's completely free to our clients to come. Last year, we had over 400 people came and served over 900 pounds of crawfish. So we do lots of events like that. We've rented out movie theaters. We do lots of pop buys, lots of handwritten notes, lots of care calls, just letting our people know that we are trying really hard to stay in touch with them and we care about them, from seeing what they're doing on social media to actually taking the time to make the personal calls. We try really hard to keep in touch.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of, I kind of miss the old days of meeting face to face with people, because there's a lot of times that I never meet them face to face unless I go to closing, and it's you know, I miss having people come in and do loan applications and getting to meet the people that we're loaning $300,000 to, and now it's such a technology world that, you know, you lose a lot of that touch, and you really have to. I'll be surprised by the number of people that will do a $400,000 transaction through text and email. I mean, it's amazing all the time. So,
Mark, you'd be shocked at how many people's houses I've picked for them, and then they come to closing. I'm like, "Here's your keys. Hope you like it." So we've done several houses where they've never seen it till they actually walked in. I mean, they've seen it on FaceTime, but you know what I mean, actually been in it. Yes.
Well, that says a lot about how much somebody trusts you and your team.
A little scary, but yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me, like, three non-negotiables for you. Hey, this has to happen this week or today, or all hell's going to break loose, or my business is not going to continue to grow. What are three non-negotiables that you have in your business that have to happen?
So lead generation would obviously be top of the list for any realtor. It should be. If you're not lead generating every single day, and yes, it does get tiring, and yes, it is a process and a system, but you have to lead generate every day. So that's key. Having systems and processes in place to funnel your leads, to run your business, to keeping up with everything that's going on in your team is key. And just like everything else, it ebbs and flows. Your systems and process are working amazing, and then all of a sudden they crater, and you got to come back and fix them a little bit and get back to what you're doing. And having in that systems and process, I would say the key thing there is having a strong database system. Whatever you're going to use for your CRM has to be a really strong system that you're actually using and utilizing. Can't just be a great system that sits on your phone that you don't use. So I feel like those are key. We've gone through several and finally feel like we've landed on a really good one, but those three things are definitely key. And then communicating with your people and making sure your team's on point, meeting their goals weekly, monthly, quarterly, all the things.
Yeah. You know, the database thing is amazing to me. I teach classes about the top 5 reasons agents fail and why you won't be one of them if you do these things. Well, that's one of the things that I teach is you've got to have some sort of CRM to keep in touch with your clients. But man, I'm surprised at how many people just don't. They don't even keep an Excel spreadsheet to say this is this borrower and how much they bought it for and where their address is, and so there's no reason. I mean, no surprise that there's so many people that struggle because they're so transactional focused that they're not looking to build the relationships that you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's relationships are key in anything.
Yeah. So when do you see yourself walking away from this thing? Are you looking to, get another 20 years in, or just kind of, are you looking to build it to where you can sell this practice down the road, or, hey, I'm going to do this till I die?
No, I mean, my hope is that we have created enough opportunities for our children that our children want to come back and be a part of it. And I'm talking about my whole team, all of my team's children that want to come back and be a part of it in some way or another. we as a team bought into a title company, so that's been super fun. And then we also bought into a home cleaning company. So my hope is that we're providing some legacies for our children to want to come and be a part and keep growing. And then we always joke that we'll be 90 years old with our canes saying, "You like this house, sweetie?" But I mean, I don't know that I can never sit still and just be at home all day long on a regular basis. So I feel like real estate's a good thing that you can do until you're just literally sick and tired of it. And I don't know when that'll be. There's so many different branches of it, right? You can do a whole bunch of different things with it: commercial, residential, farm and ranch, all the different areas.
Well, you just made a comment that jogged another question. What is something that you have always wanted to do, but you have not done yet that you still would love to get accomplished? Maybe a personal goal. I've had people say, "I want to go skydiving. I want to learn a different language." So, do you have something that you have always wanted to do, but you haven't done it yet?
Personally,
Yeah.
I don't know about personally that I haven't done. I feel like I've done quite a bit. Travel a little bit more would be fun, and to have those experiences. And then on our team, as far as that goes, we would like to grow our commercial side, and we definitely like to grow our farm and ranch. We've dabbled in both of those, and with all the horse cutting that we do, with our horses and our showing and stuff, we've been able to get the ball rolling in that area, and I'd really like to see those two departments grow.
Okay. So successful people always have some getaway or planning session, maybe once a month, once a quarter, once a year. Do you ever? Obviously, I think you do because you're very successful out there. Do you have a monthly planning session or just thinking session of, okay, this is what I want to get done this next quarter or this next year?
Definitely. We have a big goal planning day that actually was at the beginning of November because we're really starting to plan then for the next year. We have quarterly meetings with each teammate, and then we have coaches. Amy Wiesner has become one of our buyer's agent coaches and lead buyer's agent, and Scott Johnston has become in charge of our listings. And so they have weekly meetings with their team. And then we have huddles in the morning, and then Scott, Amy, and I meet on a regular basis also.
Okay, gotcha. Well, obviously there is this probably isn't a good question because I don't know if there is, but I always ask, hey, there's another Amy Lippincott out there that wants to maybe take a dive into real estate or take a dive into a career that she's always wanted to. What advice would you give anybody that's looking to get into this industry or a new industry that maybe they just wanted to leave the dead end job that they have? What kind of advice would you give them?
One, I would make sure you have enough savings, 6 months savings in your account before you start, because real estate is very cyclical and very up and down, and making sure that you're prepared for that so that you're not waiting on that check so much that you can't make it that month. Because, you as well as I know closings can, bust open the day of closing. So I just think always making sure that you're in a good financial position before you start anything new. And then two, I think just staying true to what your beliefs are and having a plan, having a 5-year, 3-year, 1-year plan, and making sure that you evaluate that, like we said, on a monthly and quarterly basis.
Yeah. So you said something about have 6 months of income put aside. You mean to tell me that you can't jump into this business and make $100,000 in your number? I mean, 12 months. It's just everybody thinks this is so easy.
They do.
It's really not, is it?
Yes, people do think this is so easy. And I feel like what happens is people don't treat it like an 8-to-5 job. Because what I hear a lot when people are saying that they want to get into real estate, they want to make their own schedule. They like looking at houses on HAR. And I hear that I want to make my own schedule so many times, that I want more freedom in my schedule. But if you do not treat this like an 8-to-5 job, you will not succeed, period. And so if that is my biggest thing I try to tell people is, yes, you get a little bit more flexibility in making your own schedule. But if you don't work all day, you're going to work all night. If you don't work all week, you're going to work all weekend. And so you have to determine how bad you want it and what you can do to stay on schedule.
Yeah, I saw the other day, someone told me that there are 50,000 agents between Conroe and Galveston, and 50% of those have done 0 to 1 transaction in the last 12 months. So there are tons of people that are just part-timers, and it blows me away that people will trust someone that does this. And I know everybody has to maybe do a part-time thing and have some extra income to get this thing going. I understand that. And I don't want to say that they're bad, but when you have a market like we've had in the last, few years, you can't afford to wait for this person to get off of their normal 8 to 5 job so they can make an offer for you. I mean, that house will be gone. And even in today's market, it's really still pretty tight. I mean, the
Well,
inventory isn't there.
no, and it's the most, I mean, on our side also, it's extremely frustrating dealing with another agent who has another job and you're trying to negotiate a deal and you can talk to them at 8 a.m., noon on their lunch time, and 5 p.m. And your
Yeah.
client thinks you're not doing your job, but they're out with another, having another full-time jobs, which I get, like you said, you have to make money to be able to sustain yourself, but it is super frustrating. I really don't understand why somebody would use somebody that's not in it full-time and in it to win it. I mean, that's the deal, is that you got to have somebody aggressive and who's in it to win it and who has the systems and processes in place to take care of you the whole way through, because you've seen it too, the disasters and complete catastrophes that can happen by not staying vigilant.
Right. Yeah. When I first started in the mortgage business, I umpired baseball games at night so I could pay for marketing and make my rounds during the day. So I know that people have to do that, and I don't want to badmouth anybody that does it, but
Absolutely.
because you have to sometimes. So I
You
get that.
do have
So
to. You do have to.
yeah.
It's
All right.
kind of how you make it happen, though.
Yeah. Okay. So I know we're right at 30 minutes or so. So I want to go to the lightning round real quick. And these are just quick answers. And then we'll wrap it up so you can get on with your day. I know you're
Okay.
super busy, but what is your favorite author or speaker?
It's probably a Christian speaker that I've heard a lot. So Brene Brown is really awesome, and just books I've
Renee
read by
Brown?
her.
Okay. Okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Definitely the beach. Rosemary Beach is our favorite.
Where is Rosemary Beach?
It's on 30A in Florida, right by Destin.
Okay, gotcha. All right, favorite pastime or hobby?
I used to scrapbook all the time, and now I don't have time to do any of that. And my favorite hobby right now is following my kids around and going to horse show. Anything horses for us.
Okay, gotcha. Favorite movie?
A League of Their Own.
Oh, that's a good one. If you want to cry, that's a good
Yes.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I do not do well with movies that show the progression of someone's life from start to finish and as they're getting older. That it's a great movie, but man, that is not one
It is.
to watch alone. You probably need your spouse there with you so
Right.
they can hold your hand. But okay, this may be kind of obvious, but your favorite sports team?
Astros.
Astros. Big
Yes.
Astros fan. What about football? Do you like college or
I like
pro?
college. All
Yeah,
college. College football is our favorite.
me too. It's much more passion and love the music. I mean the bands and all that kind of stuff. So okay,
Yep.
Amy. Well, I really appreciate your time today. It's been a pleasure having you on. And if someone wants to talk to you about joining your team, how would they go about reaching you?
They can call me at 832-392-8818. Call or text. Our Facebook page has lots of great information on there, and our website is thelippincotteam.com. Any of those have valuable information on it.
Okay, and we'll be sure and put those numbers and contact information in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video. You can see her number scrolling across the bottom. as well. But we'll make sure that that we have all that information. Any last parting words?
No, just thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. It was great. I didn't even think we would have an opportunity to meet Miss Cypress. So it's great to have you. It's great to see you again, and we appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great weekend.
All right, thanks. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week on Real Estate Pros of Houston. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and check out our main website at nextstephomeloans.com for more information on mortgage news, loan programs, and getting pre-approved for a home loan or set up a quick home buying consultation. We'll see you next week with another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston.